Hello everyone, this video is going to channel ideas, creative ideas to help save the planet, to save nature. And so let's see what comes up. Entering stillness in groups with a sankalp, which means a group intention, has the ability to save the planet. The human species, when it comes together with an intention, can be unstoppable. So if you get groups of people thinking the same thought and then entering silence and then being patient and waiting to receive creative ideas, it can work. So for example, you could have a group of people that ask, how may we become more sustainable? How do we save the planet? What do we need to do? And then enter a meditative state together, go into silence, then come out, go about our everyday life. That asking will create ideas in that population of meditators, or somebody else who can get the job done who's not in that population of meditators. They don't have to be connected to the group that set the intention, because the universe will just scan who on the planet is going to get the job done, who has the skills, who has the time, who maybe is designed with certain abilities. Maybe it'll utilize somebody who is a gardener to come up with an idea. Maybe it'll utilize somebody who's an A-list actor who will set up some foundation. Maybe it'll utilize an entrepreneur and a scientist to meet and then come up with sustainable solutions for the environment. So we don't need to focus on fixing it ourselves. We just need to understand how powerful we are as a human species when we return back to our essential nature in silence. And people think that they need to act right away and they need to fix the problem and that they can worry about it and talk about it and get anxious about it and write negative headlines about it. That's not going to fix the problem. That just breeds more anxiety, just pushes more fear into the collective. If we are to help the planet responds to stillness and calmness. When there was the COVID outbreak, nature really flourished because the human species was just silent for a while. And so how can the human species return back to calm and enter more silence? That is a question to ponder. There are a lot of people that are meditating. Not everybody's going to meditate or feels inclined to. And for those people who don't want to meditate, then just noticing if there's any anxiety or sadness or negativity within them. And rather than pushing it down, because the environment's affected by what we push down and it starts to de-stress when People are pushing down and not healing their wounds. Because when we push things down, it kind of erupts elsewhere. It kind of goes up into people's minds. It creates dysfunction in the personality. It creates narcissism. It creates a sense of separation. And when people have a sense of separation from their environment or from their inner world, then they can start to do harm to the environment because they've separated themselves from it. It's a delusional separate state. And so if we want to heal the environment, we have to heal our hearts, we have to heal our childhood wounds. There is a connection between childhood wounding and broken hearts that affects the environment, that affects the decision making of leaders, of game changers. So when the human species heals, dissolves its stress from the past, it will spontaneously start taking care of the environment. Because when you're stressed, you don't take care of the environment. When you're stressed, you make decisions that maybe are selfish and marginalize certain groups so that you can make money. And so the system starts not to work. There's a lot of people, they need to get to work. They need to put petrol in the car. They need to feed the kids. They don't have a choice to be thinking about sustainable living. They're just thinking about survival. And they're in a situation where they don't have choice. They haven't got the choice. But for some of us, we do have the choice. And for some of us, we have the privilege of being able to heal and having access to therapists or modalities or time to meditate, whatever it is that you have access to, use it. Because whatever you heal, you don't just heal for yourself, you heal for the world. And there are some people that have no ability and no tools. And so there is a responsibility for the people that have the ability and have the tools and have the privilege to do the work. Some people are just trying to survive. And so for those of us who are in a privileged position, and I am one of those people, we can get out of our individual selfish life and start to be of service. And as a siddhar, I enter meditation twice daily and do techniques to reduce stress in the atmosphere. But that's just something that I have done on my life path. But yours, you can maybe go plant trees. Maybe you can set up a little creative group that brainstorms or goes into silence. Maybe you can just have a little intention for things to be different. Just ask before you go to sleep at night. It's all received by intelligence. Some people are going into nature, learning how to communicate with plants. There's a lot of creative solutions. But when we return back to calm, the planet will return back to calm. The outer environment reflects our inner environment. So if we're de-stressing, the world will de-stress. If we're not being gentle and kind to ourselves, the world's not going to be gentle and kind. The outer world reflects the inner world. So we have to understand that it's not like it's out there doing something and we're separate. No. Nature lets loose and it de-stresses. So we have to also allow nature to de-stress. It's it's suffered and it's going to de-stress. But it really loves us because it's kept us around, because it could have wiped us out really, really easily. So we're lucky to still be around. So I'm going to pray now for us to return back to our natural state of calm. For the people who don't have the tools or the ability to get a relief, and for the people that are in privileged positions, may they come up with ideas that are beneficial for not only themselves, but for every being in the world.